What are you expecting today? Because whatever you expect, that's exactly what you're going to receive. What does it mean everyone is you pushed out? If you haven't watched my previous video, I would like for you to take a look at it. I think it's going to build upon this one, or this one builds upon the other one, and you're going to get a full comprehension of it. I'm not saying that there are no other videos here on YouTube where you can grasp the understanding. But we have times when we capture a little bit of understanding, we think we got it, and then we keep coming back to the same videos. In the same way you came across my video, and you are going to hear my take on it. What does it mean everyone is me pushed out? Let's start from the origin of all things. If you were to meet God at the corner of nowhere with nothing, okay? Corner of nowhere with nothing, you would have shaken hands with everything and not know it. This implies that when I come into your life, or you come into my life, you have no idea what's contained within me. But the whole world is actually contained within me. That's what it means everyone is you pushed out. In fact, the whole world has already been pushed out. What it's waiting for you is to enter into ownership, or for you to begin to move your physical body in this world anywhere you want, however you want. Go and do whatever you want, right? Your purpose for your existence is to be, do, and have anything you want. That means be the kind of person you want to be, do whatever you want to do, go and travel wherever you want to go, because ultimately that's our deepest desire. But that's your purpose as well. So how do we go about that? We have been conditioned to have a little space, a little square space, right? This is your square, this is your house, this is your car, this is your job, this is your money. You must contain yourself in there. In fact, if you work for someone else, and even in business, we are not aware of this view. We're not aware of this view, that our purpose for our existence is to enjoy life. However, we have been conditioned to think that life is difficult and life is hard. You see, the law of relativity states there's nothing good or bad, but the law of polarity states for every good there is a bad. Meaning, if you've heard that life is difficult, well, there has to be the other side as well. Life is easy. And you can see people that have an easy life and people that don't have an easy life. Because everyone lives according to their concept, according to whichever end they choose to obey or they choose to believe. You see, you can obey the law and keep your money in your pocket, or you could disobey the law and you get rid of your money. In the same way, when we talk about everyone is you pushed out, it's referring to your expansion. How far can you expand in the mind? Just as that's how far you're going to expand out there. But let's take a step further. Everyone is you pushed out. It's referring that built within every desire, because you have more than one desires. Built within each desire, there is the mechanics, the resources, the ways, the strategies, the plans, the resources, the money, everything. It's built within every desire. For example, an apple seed has built within it whatever is necessary to become an apple tree. For a corn grain, everything is built within it to become a corn husk that has more corn. Meaning that depending on what idea you hold on to, depending on what it is you want to manifest, built within that, there's already everything necessary for you to experience that. What does that mean? It means that when you make a decision, people call it the law of assumption, people call it the law of agreement, people call it the law of decision. When you decide as to what it is you want and you're very specific and very clear, what that implies is that that's the car I want, that's the woman or man I want, that's the job I want, that's the amount of money I want, that's the house I want to live in. You're very clear and very specific. Why? What it's saying is, hey, that thing that's out there, I want to be in it. I want to expand myself from this house into that house. That's called expansion or evolution. So how do I understand that is me pushed out. If it speaks to you, to your heart, it's yours. You have heard don't covet or don't lust. In the negative way, it's going about it, it's going about it the wrong way when you covet and lust. But there's also love and joy. So you can look at it however you want it. You label it however you want it. But if that house speaks to you, you know how sometimes you look at homes, you look online and something just speaks to you and say, you know what, this is it. You can't say you're lusting or you're coveting it, right? Unless you want it and you're desperate and you're going to go about it in the wrong way. But the right way is to understand that it's a desire. And it's sin not to go after your desire. Sin implies deviation from your desire, from your goal, from your dream, from your vision. So it's not lust and it's not coveting. What it is, it's just a mislabel. We mislabel. In the same way we say I'm not worthy, and the other end of it is I am worthy. It's just a label. But when we talk about everyone is me pushed out, it's referring that built within that desire that you have to have a certain amount of money, to live in a specific home, to have a specific partner come back, to drive a certain car, to go in a certain place, to have certain friends around you. Built within that desire, those people already exist. That money, that person, that version of you with that house already exists. That version with you when you're SP already exists. Everything is pushed out. It's not out there, not yet. This is when we come to create it. But everything exists. So everyone is me pushed out is referring to the ideas contained within themselves, everything that is necessary for this desire to become a reality. That means every person, everything that has to happen is already contained within that idea, but the idea comes from inside of me. That's why the idea is being pushed out. And it turns into a circumstance usually. It doesn't turn just into an idea. Right? Idea doesn't turn to idea. Idea turns to circumstance. So I push the idea out. I push the idea. Everything is me pushed out. In the image and likeness of that which I push out, it comes back to me what I attracted. What you put out comes back to me. That means what you keep pushing out, everyone is me pushed out. That means whatever you push out, whatever idea you believe in, you keep pushing and pressing out, impressing. You keep impressing through meditation and visualization and affirmations. You keep impressing it. Whatever you keep impressing, it's going to be pressed through. Okay? It's coming through. So what you need to understand, in my opinion, when it comes to everyone is me pushed out, is referring to the idea. What is your idea of your SP, for example? What is your idea of your bank account? What is your idea of your identity? What is your idea of your job? What is your idea of a house that you want to live in? What is your idea of the social status? Okay, and I think I said that, relationships. What is your idea of you and money? What ideas? Ideas could be, I am a multi-millionaire. Now that's a shadow. Let's get specific. As specific as you get, that comes down to, okay, I decided this is what it is I want. Now, contained within that idea, you have the people, you have the resources, you have the business idea, you have the strategy, you have the plan. It's contained within that idea. You can decide upon any idea because any thought or any idea is possible. That idea contains within itself those people, and you push them out. You push the business idea out. You push everything gets pushed out. But in the pushing out of the idea, you're actually attracting, right? Because you can't physically push out people or push out money out of you. What it's saying is, as I'm projecting this out, it's going to come back to me. If I say I'm going to have this kind of a business and you see yourself in that business and see this revenue, that has to come back to you. What you push out, put out, comes back to you. So in the same way, when we think about, let's talk about SP, for example. he is me pushed out, your opinion of him gets pushed out, because ideas are pushed out. And ideas can turn into circumstances. But can you be very specific as to, this is what I want, this is the idea, I see him or her like that, saying this to me. Jeffrey Allen was on Mind Valley speaking with Vishnu Lakiani, and he said, this is how you control conversations. And I've done this personally. And this was in the middle of my relationship. We just broke up, and it was the next day, and we were working together. And at the same time, I mean, I went home devastated and just not feeling well. And I don't think it was the next day, but it was later on. But I have gone through this, through the letting go, the letting go. Nothing was bothering me, nothing was upsetting me. I just accepted it. And when I accepted it and allowed it, that means to allow is not to add more thoughts, not to overwhelm yourself with worry and doubt and why is this. No, I just completely let go. There was no thoughts in the mind when it came to my ex. So we were working together. But this particular day, I sat next to him, and I said his name. And all of this was done internally. And I said, so-and-so is turning around. And he tells me, I love you. 4 minutes later, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes later, he turns around, kisses my forehead, and he says, I love you. And I thought, okay, I must have pushed that out. That's how easy and that's how simple it is. But the secret to all of it was this. I was very calm. I had no negative thoughts about the person. I had no negative thoughts about me. I had nothing. Nothing was bothering me, right? Peace that passes all understanding. It was just like, okay. It was a supernatural state of mind because I couldn't do it. The night before, I had an experience where I felt as if I was overcome with, I would say, the agony of the breakup. Physically, I was in pain, and because these thoughts could not be let go, and it happened in a supernatural way that I entered into that peace that passes all understanding, and so I was very, very calm. And because of that, he must have seen something, he must have felt something. And in that place, he asked me, he wanted us to be back together. Why am I saying this? Because he was me pushed out. What I've assumed of him, or what I have envisioned him doing, and I said, he is turning around and he is doing this. And it was 4 minutes later, he turns around, kisses me on the forehead. I was lowered in the chair, and says, I love you. And I said, in myself, I was screaming. I was all over the place. Like, oh my God, why did I do? I said, okay, this is a fluke. He goes into his office, and I said, I'm going to do this again. Oh, this is so much fun. I'm going to do this again. And I said, okay, he's going to come out of his office. He's going to tell me I love you, and he's going back in his office. But while I was saying this, I've envisioned it, right? You see, to manifest, you must appropriate the idea with the image. That's why you take your time, and that's why focus is important. You just don't say, oh yeah, he's going to do this and do that. No. The slower you do it, the more energy and focus you put into that, and you see it, the faster it comes. Half an hour later, I don't know, 20-some minutes later, he comes out of the office, picks up something off my desk, and says, I love you, and he goes back in his office. By this time, I was overcome with just out of, I was out of myself. I don't know whatever you call it, but I realized how much power we have, how much authority. You see, Let me bring something to your attention. When the inner man has more power over the outer man, that is called everyone is you pushed out. Okay, that means everyone is going to be commended by you. You see, your flesh or their flesh is just flesh. But your mind and his mind is the same mind. It's the same thing. There's only one body, one Lord, one mind, one Spirit, and Father of all. And so when you assume something of someone, you are manipulating their energy. Your energy is their energy. But because you are seeing them, you're manipulating their energy. And their energy has to cause their body to respond to whatever they're thinking it's their idea. You manipulate energy by sending it out in the form of picture and intention. It drops into their head, and that causes their energy to move and to shift, causing eventually their body, the effect in their body. Therefore, you receiving back that which you have seen. So when everyone is you pushed out, it's referring to everyone is inside of you right now, because you can, the inner man, let me put it this way, because the outer man will rise under compulsion to satisfy the desire of the inner man. The inner man is your thoughts and imagination, your will, your intention, and the laws of life. And the inner man has more power over the outside. You have heard this in religion, right? The one that is inside of me is stronger than the one that is on the outside. It's referring to your spirit is stronger than the flesh. Therefore, when you assume something of someone, you better believe it, they're doing it. Okay? So I've had this as well. I was sitting in my house, and I remember thinking back at the place that we lived in together. And I said, I see him right now. He's sitting in the chair, in that chair. I could see the desk. I could see the computers, right? I'm there now, even now. And I said, I could see his phone. He's on his phone, and he's sitting there with his hand like that, and he's thinking about texting me. I could see him picking up the phone, and I can see him pressing this and that. I can see his finger on this and that. And I could see him scrolling and looking at my name and just about to send a text, and he's sitting there like that, and he's thinking about what to text me. It didn't take more than, I think, the next day or 2 days later, and I received a text. Why? Because your focus, Bob Proctor said, we're lacking two things: lack of imagination and lack of focus. That means our energy or our thought goes all over the place. When you have made up your mind as to what it is you want, you're going to get it. You see, you keep pushing out whatever you want. And so you might have heard that there's videos here on YouTube where people say, oh, I can manifest him, my SP sending me a text. You can. Anything is possible. If you do it with worry, doubt, and fear, I want you to imagine 3 buckets. And let me show this to you, why your manifestations, another reason why your manifestations don't manifest. Let me see this. Doubt, fear, and worry. And there are 3 buckets. Okay. Here, let me put this. Okay. Let's say that okay, so I want you to look. You are here. This is where you want to be. Okay, you are here, he is here. You are here, she is there. In the middle, if you put worry, fear, and doubt, it's stealing this away from you. It's negating it. You're communicating between you and your fear and doubt. You're not communicating between you and him and her anymore. You're communicating with your doubt and worry. All right? And you've got to learn to let go of it, to dissolve that. And in my program, I show you how to dissolve it in between step number 3 and 4, how to let go. But I want to say to you that if you have this visual, take this visual and keep this visual in the mind and say, I am here, but I want this, okay? If you eliminate all of this, right? You see this and you get here, you're already living in the end. Because you've eliminated doubt, fear, and worry. But as long as you communicate between you and your fear and doubt and worry, this is not having any life. You're not giving it life. You're not giving your thoughts here. Your thoughts trickle here. And whatever's left goes here. And you start again. Your thoughts come here, they trickle, they get diluted, and then whatever's left comes here. And that's what takes longer for a manifestation as well. In my program, I teach you how to take a few minutes, and I encourage you to use that at night, but you do it a few times a day, and we have actionable items that you have to do every single day. You check them off the list. But as you do the 6-step process in the program, you only have to do it once. If you do it correctly, you only do it once. If you can get yourself to that place where there's no fear, doubt, and worry, just like Neville was climbing up the ladder on the side of the boat, every time his mind began to wander, he brought it back. What it's saying is his mind went back, was going someplace else. Your mind goes to fear, doubt, and worry. Your mind goes to what they said. Your mind goes to your bank account. Your mind goes to anywhere else but where it needs to go. And so you need to train it. Bob Proctor said, we're lacking focus. We are. Only a decisive mind. See, when you decide, your mind and heart get together. And a person is decisive. It's not like, see, sometimes you have a thought, I would like to get married. I would like to be back with ESV. But we're not willing to put in the work. The only work that we need to put in is the work of making the mind, the heart, becoming one. And it starts with a decision. And when you make a decision, you feel it. You feel something strong. You feel as if your mind connects with your stomach, with your gut. You see, the solar plexus system, it's another brain. It has its own neurons. And so when you create that connection, it's done. Because that connection happens through decision, the law of decision. So decision happens when you have a made-up mind, okay? You say, enough is enough. No more doubt, no more worry. I don't care what she said. I don't care what they said. I don't care what the bank account says. I don't care. Meaning to care is to involve yourself emotionally and feelingly in that. And you say, enough with that. I'm not thinking, I'm not feeling in that area anymore. I'm thinking and feeling in this area. I'm giving it all here. I'm giving everything I've got, mind, body, and spirit, right? Your imagination with the feeling, I'm giving it all here. This is what I'm investing myself in. So when you have a made-up mind, it's not going to take you long before you get to manifestation. A lot of people that manifest very quickly are the people that say, one day I just decided and I said, that's it, I had enough. This has to come into my life. And they said, things began to happen. Yes, because in the law of decision, there is power. You're putting a demand. Your command places a demand. Okay? So the law of decision is the law of command. And your law of command places a demand on the universe to give it to you. No more waiting. When everyone is you pushed out, if you watch my previous video, I talk about Joseph Murphy. You see, when he began to imagine his house at the other side of the world, there was a woman listening to him on the radio, and they were thinking about each other. Okay? As Joseph Murphy began to put this house together with the 3rd floor, with the equipment he needed to record his speeches, there was a woman at the other side, and she was thinking, who should I leave this house to? And she began to project those images to him. They were communicating. They were part of each other's destiny. He became the heir of her inheritance, okay? He inherited that. Meaning they were in the same. They were attracted to each other. It was his desire, but her desire as well. He desired to receive, and she desired to give. He wanted to receive, and she wanted to give. And when we talk about asking and giving, this is you pushed out, meaning in the giving and receiving, you're doing it all. Because in the giving of those images, he was actually receiving them. The giving and the receiving, or the asking and receiving, happens at the same time. So when we push out an image, that's what's referring to. When you push out an image, someone else is giving it to you. God gives you the desire of your heart. That woman is God, and Joseph Murphy is God. God gives it to you. You're God, she is God. You're pushed out. You're one and the same. And so she impressed it upon him, but he wanted it. And she said, okay, well, here it is. Like, beam. Okay, it just like went, okay, oneness, wholeness, integrity. Match. Here's the match. Here's the match. Here's the match. Whatever you desire right now, there's a match for it. Do you desire a 3-story home with a recording studio on the 3rd floor? There is a match. It exists, because all desires come from God, and all is God. Therefore, whatever you can imagine, it already exists somewhere. When I purchased this green chair, I was living in a home, and I love emerald. All of a sudden I decided I love emerald. And I have emerald jewelry, and I have emerald items in the house. Not many, but this is one of my favorites. And I remember saying to myself a couple of days before, I said, you know what? It would be nice if I could have a real velvet emerald chair with tufted back. Okay? It was a couple of days later, and I look online, and I saw these new chairs, and I said, well, that looks nice. That's a nice bench. That's not what I had in mind. I want a wing-back chair with green velvet. I want it to be in good condition, and I just want that. So after doing my search, I come across this website. I don't remember it, but it was resale. And when I've seen it, I said, I want it. I said, that's my chair. I said, that's my chair, because it matches my image. And contacted the person, and she said, you know what, there's 1 or 2 people ahead of you that have already said they wanted it. I said, ma'am, let me share my story with you. I said, a couple of days ago, I've decided what I wanted, and when I've seen it, I said, this is mine. I said, that's my chair. I said, you have my chair. So she decided to give it to me, and it was even delivered to my house. Why? Because whatever I want already exists. But if you don't know what it is you want, how are you going to get it? Who can give it to you? You can't give it to yourself. When you think of everyone as you pushed out, decide what it is you want, because that person, that thing, that business, that whatever it is, it's already waiting for you to be claimed. Joseph Murphy claimed her inheritance. He inherited because inwardly he did the work. So what are you pushing out? Because they say, be careful what you ask, because it comes to you. So now we should be more careful, as this meaning everyone, everything, not just everyone, everything is you pushed out. Everything. This is the thing, I'm a somebody, but this is it body. I was telling my daughter today, I said, oh, it's an it body, and I'm somebody. Okay, it's cute, right? But everything you want exists. I've heard someone say, the bigger you dream, the better the reward. Can you allow yourself to dream better than the best? Neville used to say, imagine better than the best. Noble things, pure things, lovely things. The bigger you imagine, it's already given. Keep persisting, keep saying, yes, this is what I want. Keep imagining, say, this is what I want. The feeling is the secret. So your work is to get to the feeling. But the feeling comes from understanding. When you understand this, when you become a spiritual scientist and you take stories like this and you break them down, when you grab to the understanding behind the meaning of everyone is you pushed out, the feeling comes easier. Because you have something to rest upon. You have something to back you up. And all that get understanding. That's what I bring within my program, Manifest Without Money, this understanding. that you must hold on to. And understanding comes from repetition. You listen to a video over and over and over and over and over again. My first mentor said you've got to listen to something at least 7 times for your heart to understand. And so that's what we do in the program. 1 video a week. Every single day you've got a sheet list with things you need to check off. And then we have on Facebook page, every Tuesday I speak to my clients in Manifest Without Money program. So everyone is you pushed out, everything is you pushed out. Don't just think of everyone, think of everything is you pushed out. What is it you're pushing out? What are you thinking? What idea are you appropriating to the right image? What perception do you have? Perception or idea? What perception are you pushing out? Because it exists. All is God. Remember, I started the video saying if you met God at the corner of nowhere with nothing, you would have shaken the hand with everything and you did not know it. Everything out there is already inside of you. Can you resurrect it to the level? Can you bring it up? Can you lift it up? God said, if you lift me up, I will draw all people unto you. What it's saying is, lift me up, lift that desire up, and you will draw it unto you. That's the law of attraction. So everything is you pushed out. Sit down, think about it. Be clear, but also be careful. Okay? Be careful what you ask for. That means be careful what ideas and images you combine together, because they will happen. And the feeling will come naturally. When you have this understanding and you say, how much can I love myself right now? And I teach my clients and I tell them, ask yourself every day, what would I like right now? What would I like right now? What would I like right now? It's saying, how can I love myself? How can I serve myself? How can I serve you? How can I serve you? Because the body is the servant to the inner man. How can I love you? You're telling the inner man, how can I love you? What desires do you have? What are you longing for? Heart of mine, what are you longing for? Because your heart is the heart of God. And you say, God or you or me, or, not you or me, but what are you longing for? Let me know. Let me know what you're longing for, so that I can rise that. Give me that idea. Let me know so that I can lift it up. I will lift it up so that I can bring it to you and satisfy your heart with all the goodness and riches that exist. Because everything is created by you. Everything is already inside of you. You are God. And when people meet you on the street, they don't know who you are. They don't know who you are. They don't know that you own the whole world and you can command it to come to you. Now that is who you are. You are a powerful being. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And leave a comment below if this has hit home with you. If it had brought you home. If it had grounded you to the point of saying, you know what? I've been playing small. I've been thinking too little of myself. I know. But it's okay. We're all on the same journey. Some of us a little bit more ahead, some of us a little further back. That's okay. You can own anything. I can own anything. There's enough air for everyone, right? There's enough for everybody. So, thank you so much. I will see you next time. Bye now.